All right, we are back on air again. We lost our connection first time today, so we are back on air again. So please come back, invite your friends. And before we close, actually, before we lose our connection, we were talking about Quran and science. And the last question, it was about the orbit of the Quran. Sorry, the orbit of the moon. So what I will do, maybe it's better if we focus in one topic at a time, just to make it, let us say, more clear. Like, so when people watch, they can hear one topic, one thing. So what we will do now, instead of talking about anything regarding the Quran and miracles, or scientific miracles as they call them, the Muslims, what we will do, we will go and speak about astronomy for now. So if you have a question, please feel free. You can share with us your questions, and there's an option in the top of the video. It says be part of the conversation, Q&A, question and answers. So you can click in it and you can join us. Now in front of us, I found this a new website. Actually, it's not new. I mean, I think it's an additional website for it. They are copying from each other. You know, the Muslims, they copy from each other, and all of them, they have the same propaganda. All right. So here you will see articles about astronomy. So either we use this website, or we can go in this website here, and we can try to find the astronomy ones from here. Let us see. Let us start from the first one at the top. And remember, now we will talk about astronomy, which anything have to do with the skies, the stars, etc. And it says new, so supposedly this is a new claim. Let us see what this new claim is about. I hope the text is clear for you guys to read. By the heaven furnished with baths, Surat al-Dhariyat. The Arabic word al-hubk, translated as furnished with baths. In verse 7 of Surat al-Dhariyat come from a verb hubik, mean the wave closely to the night to blend together. Wow. Okay. The use of this word in the verse particularly wise and presents the current states of scientific knowledge in two aspects. All right, let us see. The first of this, the orbit and the paths in the universe are so dense. Anyway, you can guys take your time to read this, because all what they are reading there have nothing to do with the verse. All right. However, you can take your time to read it, and we will go to the verse to see, like, all those drawing and all those pictures, what they have to do, like what is the claim until now. The second aspect in the description of the Quran is the sky using the word meaning woven, maybe reference to the string theory of physics. You know, always Muslims, because they are lying, they use the term maybe. You see the word maybe? Now, maybe it refers, maybe it's not, maybe it is a lie, maybe it's true, maybe it's a joke. It is maybe. So are we talking about science, or we are talking about maybe? You know? So They are speaking about something, and suddenly they speak about waves and audio and sound, uh, and then the complex movement of the stars. All of this from a very simple verse, which even the translation of it is absolutely not correct. If we go and read the verse together, all right? I'm going to go search truth, all right, and we will choose Arabic. Don't worry, I will make the page big for you so we can read together better. And we will switch to Arabic English. All right. Let's see what the verse is saying. I will compare between the translation in this website and the translations Muslims they have in here. This is Yusuf Ali. Look how huge the difference between the translation of Yusuf Ali and the translation of this website. This is the translation, verse number 7. By the sky with its numerous paths, many ways of the sky. That's it. That's all what it says. It became a story. In here, the translation is different. By the heaven furnished with paths. And then they come with the word hubuk, and the word hubuk mean the wavely closely. Okay, you know what? If the word mean there to wave closely, and this, why you don't say it? Why you don't put it in the translation? If it is the same. All right. Or what the verse saying that Allah He have His way to the heaven. Muhammad He went to the 7th heaven in the top of a flying donkey. And actually, according to Islam, the way to heaven, like you pass certain time where you go in a road, and you're not flying no more. So if you fly in the beginning, but then there is a way, and that way is very dusty, and maybe we can I can make in the future some videos about it. However, let us go and see some interpretation of this verse. Remember, this is chapter 51, verse number 7. So if we go to Ibn Kathir, and I will make this screen big for you so you can see with me after we go there. All right. Actually, this is a very funny verse, by the way. Let us read what the interpretation of the verse means. الذاريات ذروا mean the wind. The man asked. Okay. فالجاريات يسرا mean the cloud. فالمقسمات أمرا mean the ships. All right. Now this is the verse we are talking about. So we read a few verses before it. Ibn Abbas says, full of a beauty, grace, magnificent, and perfections. That's mean the sky is full of a beauty, grace, and magnificence, and perfection. That's it. That's what the verse means. In the Quran and Science website, it became about science, it became about waves, it became about 4 billion stars, it became about the Milky Way, it became about the galaxy, it's about the space. It's about everything. And Dr. Carlo said, and Dr. Zucchini said, and Dr. Carlo from the University of Pittsburgh says. So what he said, what does this have to do with the Quran? So what the Muslims do, they mention things have nothing to do with the topic. They mention things have nothing to do with the topic. All right, in order to fool you. I think I forgot to post in the other account in YouTube that we are on air. So hold on, guys. Give me a second here. I will go there and post, because we promised them that when we launch again our podcast, we were podcasting before, if you were here, and we lost our connection. So let me post. I'm typing in Arabic. That's one of the things always happen here. You forget yourself and you start typing, and then after you finish typing, you find yourself you were writing Arabic. We are on air. Okay, join us. All right. I hope people will see it. Yeah, that's good. All right, so let us go back there. Let me share the screen again. So as you notice in the interpretation made by Muslims, things is totally different. Look and hear what it says. Bin Anas and others said similarity al-hubuk, etc. Said that the Mandarin of the water send and plants when the wind passes over them, covering paths out of them. That is al-hubuk. What does this have to do with all what they said in the website? Nothing. Nothing. So those people, they fabricate. You do not know what the word means. You do not know Arabic. So whatever we fabricate, how you will know it's not true? There's no way to know. All right? But obviously, what they are saying have nothing to do. It's talking about how this let us say this sky which is mix of a beauty. That's all. This sky, which is mixed with the, let us say, decoration. That's all. It became about science. It became about astrology. It became about astronomy. The sound waves. The stars movement. Unbelievable. Because they are so desperate to find something good about the religion. So the first one, it turned to be nothing but a scam. Let us go to the second one. Tsunami. This is not astronomy, so I will jump it now. Because now we name our topic astronomy, so we will stay with astronomy. Construction motions, hereditary. I remind you again, if you have a question, you can click at Q and A, and you can ask your question. The ozone layer at the poles as the sun rises. All right. Let us see the ozone layer at the poles at the sunrise. The verse they are talking about is Surah Al-Kahf, verse number 90. Now, if I'm a Muslim, seriously, if I'm a Muslim, I will never mention the whole chapter. This whole chapter, I should hide it. Seriously. But anyway, let us, expose the lie of the Abduls. The Arabic word sitran in verse 90 of Surah Al-Kahf means cover, shelter, curtain, or screen. The term, oops, النجال نجعلهم sometimes the way they write in English is funny. Anyway, من دونها سترا نجعلهم من دونها سترا. Describe environment devoid of any shelter or protection against the sun. Okay. In the light of the present day knowledge, this is suggestive of the ozone layer and the protection living things against the harmful solar rays. Unbelievable. You see the Quran? The Quran is speaking about the ozone. You believe it? How amazing Allah is? Allah, He knows the ozone. And where is that? Where is that? In the poles, like the North Pole and the South Pole. All right? Let us read together. The area where the ozone layer around the Earth is thinest, where is the protects list against solar radiation, is in the poles. Ooh, that's really amazing discovery. I don't know why my keyboard not working. Anyway, research has established a severe thinning of the ozone layer in the North Pole at the moment. The sun rise, and this scientific discovery has been discovered as a sunrise ozone destruction. You know, first of all, scientists, they are talking about the ozone thing. This is now, not before. And because of the global warming, etc., so we are causing damage to the ozone. But the Quran was 1400 years ago. There is no cars, there's no smoke, there's no etc. So the whole story here, you can tell there's a fabrication. However, I want to see how they got this to be the location to be in the pole. I mean, how the Muslims, they found out that this verse in the Quran here is speaking about the ozone and is speaking specifically about the location of the pole. How they got into this conclusion? If you read the whole thing, pictures, etc., you know, there's nothing there have to do with anything. Like, do you see any conclusion, like where, how you know that this is about the North Pole? How you know that this is about the ozone? If we go and read the verse, we will see the story is totally different. This is a story about Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great, he reached a point where he found people next to it. Read with me. Until he reached, and I'm using their translation now. I'm using the Muslim Abdul translation. Until he reached the rising of the sun and found it rising on a people whom we had not given any shelter from it. If you read carefully the translation, and this is their translation, it says, we did not give any shelter, any shelter. Is that what the ozone is about? There's no shelter? If there is ozone, it is thin, or there's no ozone at all there. If it says not any shelter is exist, it means there's no shelter. But the claim they are the one who came with, they said they found that the ozone in the north and the south pole is very thin, or in the north pole. Thin, not exist. And there's a huge difference. Secondly, let us go to the verse in the Quran, all right? And read what the verse is saying, because it's going to be really, to get more funny when we start reading. Let us go back to Arabic. This is the story of Alexander the Great, all right? And we will use any translation of your choice. You can start, actually, I advise you, if you read this story, where Muhammad, he said, they are asking you about Alexander the Great. They are asking you about the Zulqarnain. Zulqarnain in Islam is Alexander the Great. And by the way, he is a Muslim prophet. And all of us, we know that Alexander the Great is a bisexual, he's a homo. They ask thee concerning Zulqarnain, saying, I will rehearse you something of his story. So this is where the story starts from, about Alexander the Great. And this is one of the funny things about the Quran. If you read the verses before, you will see there's no connection between those verses. The first 82 verses in the Quran in this chapter have nothing to do with this story. Suddenly he jumped to Alexander the Great. Why? We do not know. So they asked thee about concerning Zulqarnain, saying, I'm going to give you some of it. He established his power on earth, and we gave him the ways. So who is the one who gave him the ways? Allah. And the means to all ends, with no limitation. This guy supposedly he occupied the whole earth, which is false. One such way he followed, until he reached the setting sun. He found the sun sitting in a spring of water. You notice here the Muslims didn't talk about this to be a miracle, because they know that this is very funny and very stupid. So they jump all the way to verse number 90, and they start talking about verse number 90. Until when he came to the rising of the sun, he found it rising on people whom he had provided no covering protection against the sun. If you live in the North Pole or the South Pole, your problem is not the sun. You will not need a protection from the sun. Those who seek protection from the sun is those who live in a hot area, not those who live in a place where the sun even does not appear for 6 months. That's a very stupid thing to say. And this has nothing to do with the North Pole, because if Alexander the Great, he went all the way until he reached where the sun set, and he found it sitting in the murky water. Then he switched and he walked all the way where he found the sun rays. This is the location where the sun rays. Until when he come to the rising of the sun. Actually, this is the rising place, not the rising of the sun, because the sun rises everywhere. Correct? The sun rises everywhere. There's a place in the earth the sun does not rise in it. So he reached a place where the sun rising, which means this is a place where the sun came from. This is why verse number 86 speaking about where the sun set. So he discovered where the sun sleep in. It's in the murky water. You see it? He found it set in a spring of a murky water. Actually, the word hamia is a hot water. All right. uh, according to some interpretation. However, I believe that this is a part of a legend about the sun goes every day and prostrate and under the throne of Allah, and the throne of Allah is in the top of a hot water, and every day the sun before the morning ask Allah for permission to go back or raise again, and then the sun will come back and will raise. All right. So here he arrived until he reached a place. If you go in different translation, you will see how translation change. Let us try to use Shaker translation. Look what the translation here is saying. Until when he reached the land of the rising of the sun. So this is a land where the sun rise on. This is a stupid error mistake in the Quran, because the sun does not need to rise in a place, it's like a certain location. The sun rise everywhere in this earth. And he found it. What he found? He found the sun rising on a people. So he found that sun rising on a people who had no shelter. Actually, this is speaking about the African. The African, because they don't wear clothes, they're almost naked. So it was describing that when he reached the Africa, they have no shelter. Not like us, we have houses, etc. Their houses is very thin. They use plant, they use grass, they use whatever. So those are people supposedly, according to the knowledge of the writer of the Quran, the story, that the sun rise from there. All right, and those people, they have no shelter. We have a comments here. They are saying there was no hole in the zone, ozone, when Alexander found the sitting place and he did not go to the poles, he would have a frozen. Yeah, this is true. Absolutely, this is absolutely true. Hey Shane, how are you? God bless. So the story here is obviously is a big lie, and this alone actually is enough to prove to us that Muhammad and his Quran is nothing but fabrication, because there is no place where the sun set. You see, you have to compare now in order to understand, really to make connection. We have to compare between verse number 86 and verse number 90. So to understand really what this Quran is talking about. Look, until when he reached the place where the sun set. This is the place where the sun set. He reached a place. So the sun set in a certain place. Is that true? And look how the translation here changed. And he found it is going down in a Black Sea. It doesn't say that. There's no word. The word sea does not exist. He found it sitting in a murky water. So, and he found next to it people. He found next where the sun set people. So, do the sun set in a certain place? Do we have such a thing? We don't. Do we have people who live next to the sunset of the place? No. Same exactly the story in verse number 90. So he kept going. He took different path, different course. All right. He switched his course. He took the opposite course. Looked like it. First one, he found where the sun set. Now this guy is looking where the sun rise. So he arrived until he arrived the land of the rising of the sun. He found it rising on people, as if this, if you read this, you will think that the sun rise only there. Correct? If you read it, you will think that the sun rise only there. But in the Quran Miracle website, they are saying that this sun rise in a certain location, and he found He found it raising on a certain people, but the sun raising everybody in the earth. The sun rays on me, rays on you, rays on everywhere. Wherever you go, you have a morning. So this is alone is enough to prove that the Quran is nothing but a scam book. It's a lie. However, imagine, you believe it or not, they make it as if it's a miracle. Suddenly became about the ozone, suddenly became about the North Pole, and like you know, whoever that person who went, who is in the history of mankind, he was able to occupy the North Pole or the South Pole. What are you talking about? Who is the madman who will take his army there and his horses there? They will die from the first week. You know, when Hitler he attacked Russia, even when Napoleon he attacked Russia, all of us we know the story, right? Russia is not the North Pole. It's not called the same as the North Pole yet. And all of us we know what happened to the army of Napoleon and what happened to the army of the German. The winter there is extremely harsh, and this is not a joke. And nowhere in the history it says that Alexander the Great he went to the North Pole. This guy actually he went in the opposite direction. He is coming from Europe. He went all the way to Asia and Africa, and this is where he extended his kingdom. He did not extend his kingdom to the North Pole. It's really amazing the fabrication of Muslims they come with. Sometimes even it's hard to believe the madness, like, you know, how this became about the North Pole. If we go to Ibn Kathir, chapter 18, verse number 90. Actually, I will go to chapter 18, verse number 82 first, just to show you how we can expose the lies. We are not going to use our own interpretation or etc. So people will say, oh, you know what? He is coming with his own story. This is the chapter of Al-Kahf. Hold on, we chose the wrong one. All right. And now we go to verse number 83, starting from the location where the sun set. And we make the text big for you guys so you can see it. All right. And they ask you about Zulqarnain. I will recite something about his story. Actually, the story is the Jews, they came to Muhammad and they asked him about a prophet. His name is Zulqarnain. What do you know about him? Simply the Jews, they are making fun of him. They said, let us see what this stupid idiot he will say. By claiming that Alexander the Great is a prophet, Muhammad he have to come and fabricate something, and he did. So they are asking you, who is the one who's asking him? It is the Jews. All right, as you see here, actually, we have already mentioned how the disbelievers of Mecca sent words of the people of the book, asked them for some information which they could last test the prophet. So you see, they are testing the prophet. The fact, yes, they are testing him. They said, if he is truthful, he will say Alexander the Great is not a prophet. So it was really a test, and Muhammad he fell into the trap. So the people of the book, which mean the Christian and the Jews, and actually it's specifically the Jews, there's no Christian actually there, it was Nasara only anyway, asked him about a man who traveled extensively through the earth, and about some young man who nobody knows what they did, and about Ruh, the word Ruh, which means soul. Then Surah Al-Kahf was revealed and speak about Zulqarnain had a great power. So here, if we go a little bit, just to go to the verse we are talking about, you will see here that he keep going until he found where the sun sit in a murky water. All right. So until he keep going. All right. He follow away until when he reached the sitting place of the sun, he found it sitting in a spring of Ainun Hamia. Ain, by the way, in Arabic, it can be can resemble eye, and it can resemble a spring of water. All right. So he found it sitting in a hot spring of water. Hamia mean hot. And you will see, by the way, here the translator did not translate because simply in Ibn Kathir he wrote it as a hamia, so they put it as it is. They do not know what to say about it. You know, hamia actually mean hot water. And he found near it people. Like near what? He found near what? Near the sun. So we have the sun location where the sun set, and near it, which means the sun is sitting now there, and near it there is people. All right. Now you can read the rest of the story, which is funny, and you will see Allah speaking to Alexander the Great and telling him, either you punish them or let them go. The funny, Muhammad never spoke to his God, and his God never spoke to him, but Allah, he chose to speak to a bisexual, but he never spoke to Muhammad. Here the story continue. Let us increase the text so you can read with me. All right. So he keep going, Alexander the Great keep going until, and this is the verse we are talking about, حتى إذا بلغ مغرب الشمس, until he reached the sitting place of the sun. So what he reached? The sitting place of the sun. You know, when I say to you, until you reach your parking spot, what does that mean? You reach a spot where you park your car. That's exactly what the verse is saying. He reached a place which is the place where the sun sleep. And that means the sun rays from a location and sleep in a location. All right. But in the Quran website, they made it. It's a miracle. They made it about ozone, etc. When it is a fairy tale story, it became a miracle. And then look what it says, which is in the west of the earth. Hold on. In the website of the Muslims, it is in the North Pole or in the South Pole. That is not the west of the earth. And look here, by the way, look what they say. As for his idea of his reaching the place of the sky where the sun set, this is something impossible. All right. Now the Muslims, they try to avoid the problem here. They want to say, oh, this is Alexander the Great, he thought it is there. False. The one is reporting the story is Allah. It is Allah voluntarily who he said, let me tell you about Alexander the Great and what he accomplished. The verse doesn't say until he reached what he thought the sitting place of the sun. The verse saying clearly until when he reached the sitting place of the sun. The one is talking there is Allah, is not Alexander the Great. Like if Alexander the Great he says, and I keep going until I reach the sunset place, well, we can say he thought this is the place. The one is reporting the story here is Allah, and he is reporting to us what he accomplished. And he found it sitting in the murky water. All right. And look what Ibn Kathir here is exposing as a prophet. He says, most of those stories came from the myth of the people of the book, and fabrication lies of their heretics. What it is in your Quran. It's in your Quran. This is not us saying that. If this is our fabrication, why your prophet saying it and your God is saying it? Your God should deny it. Your God should say this is not what happened. He went to a place, it's called it's etc. He should report the place where he arrived. He is telling us he arrived where the sun set, and he arrived where the sun raised. And not only this, he asked him to force them to convert to Islam, or either you punish them for not embracing Islam, or you be merciful to them. It's up to you. So in order trying to avoid the disaster here, they say, oh, this is the fabrication of the Christians. And here actually, if I'm a Muslim, if you have in your translation such a thing, it says, and the tales told by storytellers that he traveled so far to the west and the sun set behind him are not true at all. Most of those stories, okay, so what Ibn Kathir here is denying is what is Quran confirming. Very clear. He found the sun place where it set, and he found next to it people. He found the sun rays place of the sun, and he found next to it people. So there's people who live next to that place. This is not a story of a storytellers. Yes, actually I believe it's storytellers, but obviously the Quran is taking the story and making it part of it. Look what the Quran is saying. He found it sitting in a spring of hot water, meaning he saw the sun as if it were sitting in the ocean. That's a lie. That is a big fat lie. Actually, let me show you. Let me try to go to tafsir.com. This website have a problem to open at tafsir. I try to open it. It says the navigator, like it's an old script. Google don't accept no more. Tafsir. All right. Let us hope it's going to work. And actually, after we finish here, I will go to the Arabic one to show you how in Arabic is different from what they have in English. We go here. Verse number 90. And this is Al-Jalalain. And we make this text big. Look, guys, how we can explain the, expose the lies. You see all the text you saw there, this is the fabrication of the Muslims. It's not even exist. Look what it says. According to the translation of Ibn Kathir there, which is false, it says, enter when, he thought it is. No. Read with me. Enter when he reached the rising of the sun, the place where it raises. He found it raising on folk, namely Negroes, in Arabic zinj, which means black. But according to the Quran and Science Miracle book, he went to the North Pole. Now, do the black people live in the North and the South Pole? Do you see it, guys? This is not what he thought. This is what Allah is saying. So he went all the way where the sun's where the sun rays, and he found it raising on Negroes. Are we following, guys? Again, if anyone have a question, you can click at the Q&A and you can join us. You see, we were broadcasting and we lost our connection, so we lost everybody who came here before, and now we don't have many, but it's okay. At least this is a video people they can watch later, and it's not a lost. So he arrived where he found people next to it, and those people, namely the Negroes. But in the Quran Miracle website, they are saying that this is in the pole. The poles they live where the Negroes live. Is that right? That's the news for me. That's a serious news. And then they try to manipulate the verses, and they say the Arabic word mean etc. and this is really amazing scientific discovery about the ozone layer, etc. When the whole story is totally the opposite. It's about a stupid fairy tale story about a guy who went and he occupied all the earth from the sunset to the sun rays, and that is Alexander the Great. And here he explained what it does mean that they have no cover, there's no shelter in the way of a clothing or a roofing. This is not about the ozone. You see how the deception works? And look what they say. They had underground tunnels into which they would disappear at the rising of the sun. Ew, man, why? So those people, they go out only at night. Batman. You know the Batman? Let me introduce you to the Mr. Batman. So Batman's story is coming from here, maybe. Those people, they are living like Batman. They disappear when the sun rays, and they live under the ground when the sun is up in the sky. When the sun go down, those guys, they go up and live in the top of the earth. All right? So it says here, and they would disappear at the rising of the sun, and out of which they would emerge when it was its highest point in the sky. That's weird. The highest point in the sky will make it even hot, because if it's, are you talking about it is 90 degrees in the top of us? I don't know what that means. But as you see here, the Muslims, they have no shame really to play games with it and to change the whole meaning to make it look as if it's about science and about scientific discovery and amazing story, etc. This is different interpretation. This is Ibn Abbas, the cousin of Muhammad himself. Then when he reached the rising place of the sun, he found it rising on a people of whom we had appointed no helper. All the Muslim scholars, they agree that this is a story about a real place where the sun set, real place where the sun rays, and regardless of the location, this is nothing but a fabrication, because there is no sun place. I mean, sunset of the where the sun will set, where the sun will sleep. But actually, if we go to the hadith, just to understand this, because remember, Ibn Kathir there in the translation, they said that this is fairy tale stories from the people. But the Quran is saying it, and the Quran is reporting the story as a fact. Let me tell you about Alexander the Great. This is what the Quran is saying. Let me tell you about him. Right? The Quran is not saying, let me tell you what people said about him. The Quran is saying, let me tell you about him. They ask you, here we go, read with me. And they ask you about Zulqarnain, say, I will recite to you on his account or his story. And who is the one is talking here is Allah. So he's not telling his story according to people, he is telling his story according to Allah. The one is talking there is Allah himself. And the story is not coming from storytellers. Allah himself is correcting us. Allah himself is giving us that because remember the hadith says that the people of the book, they wanted to test the prophet to see if he know. So the prophet, if he know, he should say, you know what, those stories you hear about Alexander the Great, he went etc. place etc., those are lies. Let me tell you the truth. So supposedly this is what he's doing. But here he's confirming his own story about Alexander the Great going to certain places. Now if we go to the hadith, we will find in the hadith more explanation for this. Muhammad, he asked, there's a guy, he always accompanied Muhammad, his name is Abu Dharr. Muhammad, he said to him, do you know where the sun goes for the sunset time? So he told him, do you know where the sun goes? Abu Dharr, he said to him, well, Prophet, you know better. I don't know. You are the Prophet. You know, who dare to say I know anyway? Muhammad next to you, you better say you know. I do not know. So Muhammad, the professor Muhammad, the one who worked for NASA, he decided to give us explanation where the sun goes, and that actually will explain the Quran. The Prophet asked me at the sunset, so the sunset time, do you know where the sun goes at the time of the sunset? I replied, Allah and his apostle know better. Don't put it in me, I have no idea. You know better. He said, which means Muhammad, it goes, i.e. travels, till it prostrate itself underneath the throne and take a permission to rise again. And it is permitted, and then at the time will come, it will be about to prostrate itself, but this prostration, now he's talking about the judgment day, all right? So the sun every day will go under the throne of Allah, and is going to sleep under his throne, and before the morning she asked Allah for permission to raise again, and the sun will raise again. But hold on, the throne of Allah is located where? Anyone from those who they are in the chat with us knows? The sun of the throne of Allah is located where? Anyone know? Isn't it the sun, the throne of Allah located in the top of the water? When the sun is going to prostrate under the throne of Allah, where is that location? It is the water. Let us go here and see. Now we can find the hadith. Let's go to Arabic. And by the way, the funny thing about Muhammad, just to show you how stupid he is, but first let me show you where is the location of the throne of Allah. I said, O Messenger of Allah, where was our Lord before he created his creation? He said he was above the cloud, on air, and was under him no air, was above him, and he created his throne upon the water. All right. Actually, the translation is not really accurate. The translation, you see that those people don't speak with Arabic. وما فوقه هواء وما تحته كان ما تحته عماء وما تحته وما كان في عماء, there's darkness. ما تحته هواء وما فوقه هواء. What is underneath is air, and what and the top is air, and his throne was on the top of the water. So notice here, Muhammad says the sun goes and put straight into the throne of Allah. The Quran says the sun set in the murky water. The throne of Allah is in the top of the water. Now we know where the sun set. The sun set in the murky water, which is under the throne of Allah. But here we have a problem. If, according to this hadith here, there's nothing was created yet. So where is the murky water is exist? If earth is not exist, is the earth exist? Because if you go to different hadith, you will see the following. It says it clearly, there's no earth yet. Let us see. We'll go. Maybe I should take my page from the screen, because that will make you dizzy. Maybe looking at this, I'm scrolling down. Let us do this. Burn. All right. Let us see, where is the hadith? The problem with this website, you cannot search for a sentence exactly as it is. If you type something, it show you anything have to do with any of those words. The search is not really advanced. Okay, let's try something else. The first thing Allah He created, it was the pen. But the Muslims, they keep talking about the throne of Allah. Before He created anything, He was in the top of the water. It's not coming. Anyway, I will try to find it for you later. However, I'm very sure of the existence of this hadith. Actually, I made videos about it before May time. So the throne of Allah is in the top of the water. Actually, the hadith we showed you already is enough to prove it. All right. This is a hadith, but this is not the one I'm looking for, actually. that his throne was upon the water. All right, but what I want to show you, that before anything Allah He created, supposedly there was nothing, and his throne was above the water. Anyway, so if you make connection, you will find that when Alexander the Great, he found the throne of Allah, he found where the sun set. This is supposedly the sunset under the throne of Allah, and this is a true location of the sun, where the sun sleep every day. Actually, there is a video on YouTube about, I think, about the rotation of the Earth made by Muslims. So if you go and search for the rotation of the Earth, the rotation of the Earth here, okay. Oh, that rotation, not addition. Oh, so I'm typing in Arabic again. All right, so you will see the Muslims making a video. Muhammad, he speak about amazing discovery. Let's see if I can find it. Where this hadith? And don't forget, by the way, that the sun, the sun rotates around the Earth too, because according to that story, Muhammad saying that the sun goes every day from point A to point B, which means the sun is going around the Earth. Actually, this hadith here, this guy. If you watch his video.
Next question. It is mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet that when the sun rises from the west, the door of Tawbah will no longer be open. How would you interpret this hadith, having stated that the sun has already risen from the west? My view, my understanding of this sign.
I'm not going to play it also, nobody complain about copyright. What you see here, actually, that the sun will raise from the west. If you read this hadith, actually, the one we showed you, that time will come, enter a time will come when it will be about to prostrate as usual, the sun itself, but its prostration will not be accepted, and will be asked to go, permission to go on its course. So the sun, as usual, every day go from point A to point B, from the east to the west, and sleep under the throne of Allah. And every day before the sun morning, the sun asks Allah to permission to go, until one day the sun will not be given permission to go and raise again from the east. Is going to be asked to go and raise from the west. And supposedly this is in the judgment day. So in the judgment day, according to Muslims, when judgment day come, the sun will raise from the west. Now the Muslims, they come with another miracle or discovery. They say, you know what, the earth is slowing a rotation, and therefore it's very possible that the earth rotation change, and then the sun will raise from the west. All right, well, this has have nothing to do with the sun, with the earth. According to this, the hadith is very clear. The one is traveling is the sun itself, not the earth. Rotation is changing. Read with me. Where the sun goes, i.e. travels, till it's prostrate itself. So the one is moving is the sun, it is not the earth. The slowing of the rotation of the earth, or whatever you say, have nothing to do with this, because it is not the earth we are talking about, but we are talking about the sun. The sun is the one moving from point A to point B every day according to Islam. And the sun is the one which prostrate itself under the throne of Allah in the hot spring of water. I hope we made it clear. Do we? There is anything not clear? The shooting stars missiles. Okay, well, no, actually, it's not really shooting stars. No, let me. Yeah, for actually, you are right if you are saying those are shooting stars, but Muhammad, he called them stars. So Muhammad did not know. There's nothing for Muhammad is called shooting stars. If we go to the Quran, let us go there. And this is a question made by brother Shane. If we go to the Quran, we will find the story is simply when the genie they tried to spy at Allah, he threw stars at them. All right. So the Quran says, let us see. Let's see this verse here. Chapter 37, verse number 10. All right, we will make the all right. Allah decorated the heaven, the lower heaven, with the stars. So according to Islam, stars exist only in the lower heaven. However, by the way, later, the same verse in the same website we are talking about, you will see they are talking about that the lower heaven is the ozone. Actually, it is the atmosphere, sorry. You see how they fabricate? The same one, when they want, they make it about the atmosphere. When they want, they make it about lower heaven where the stars is. So Allah, he decorated the lower heaven with the beauty of the stars. And not only for beauty and for guard against the devil, against the shaitan. And I will change the translation, and you will see how translation change, because Muslims are fabricators. So when the shaitan try to get it close, Allah will shoot it with those stars. And look what the translation is saying. Except such as snatch away something by stealth, and they are pursued with a flaming fire of person brightness. So when the shaitan tried to steal information from the heaven, shaitan is not allowed. So he tried to get out of the heaven, of the earth. Allah will shoot him right away with those stars. If we change the translation, you will see. Let's go to Shakir. This is science, right? Look at the science. So those genies, the shaitan, you see how the translation changed? It says the evil one, but now it's shaitan. The accurate is shaitan. So those stars are made as decoration. All right, you see it as decoration in the heaven, in the lowest heaven, and as a safeguard against every rebellious shaitan. The idiot, Mr. Shaitan, if he tried to get close from the heaven because he tried to steal information, Allah, he showed him right away with the star. You can go to Ibn Kathir and you can read the interpretation, or we can go to any other one like Jalalain or etc. This is chapter 37 and we are reading verse number 7. So we can go here. Now you see, Muslims, they will not make a they will not talk about this thing, you know, they will never mention it. It's not for their benefit. So they try to fabricate as much, like the ones they can fabricate with, they can play with, they play with it and they make it look like as a miracle, when the fact all of this is nothing but a fairy tale stories. What do you mean you wanna shoot Shaitan with a star? And actually the Muslims, they say like the sky is protected, and this is the ozone too. All right, there's a verse in the Quran speaking about that, but this is not about ozone. This is about protecting the sky, not the earth, from the Shaitan, as we see here. He says they made safe from every forward evil and from every thought rebellious devil. Allah, he showed them. All right, if you go to verse number 8. Look how bad the Shaitan is. Why he showed them? He showed them to drive them away. All right, so they cannot listen to the highest chiefs. Now, who is the highest chiefs in the heaven? I.e. the guardians, the guardian angels. So they can, which they is communicated amongst them. It's look like Shaitan is trying to hijack the frequency of the wireless phones of the angels of Allah. So Allah, he have a defense system. This is a Star War. So when Shaitan tried to go to fly, getting close from heaven, Allah right away, the defense system of Allah, shoot the star at the Shaitan and he kill him. I think this is a very exciting story, isn't it? And this is for sure, this is science. I don't think anyone can complain about it. There's actually many verses can talk about this, but let me see if I can find them in the Quran miracle thing, so we can laugh more, because they are speaking about this, I believe, in one of the stories, protected roof. Let us search for it. Roof. Oops. Switch to English. We search for roof. Here we go. You see? The protected roof. Let us expose this lie. And we made the sky a preserved and protected roof, yet still they turn away from our sign. Chapter 21, verse number 32. Let us go and see what chapter 21, verse number 32 is speaking about. You see, the Muslims' lies is amazing, horrible. Those people, they have no shame whatsoever. Seriously. And we made the sky a roof for the earth, withheld from them, such that it does not fall. According to the Muslims, this is a protection of the earth, which is the atmosphere. The fact this has nothing to do with this. Allah, he made the sky is a roof for the earth, and he protected it from Shaitan. Read with me. by the stars. And this is the connection in the other verse we read already, right? So when the shaitan he tried to get out, Allah will shoot the shaitan by the stars. In the Quran Miracle website, this became the atmosphere. You see the lies of those Muslims. You know what I mean? You see how we can expose the lies? If you go here in the website, you will see this became about the atmosphere and the ozone and etc. Here we go. This is attributed to the sky being proved by science, by scientific research carried out in the 20th century. The atmosphere. This became the atmosphere. Actually, I don't know how smart the one who come with this. I don't know how stupid a human being can be. The verse they're saying the one is preserved is the sky, not the earth, which means it's the opposite direction of protection. You see the atmosphere protecting the earth, not the sky. The atmosphere provide protection to the earth, not to the sky. And if we go and read, actually, if we go and read the whole verse, let me show you actually. Let's go to the main page in the Quran and laugh together. And the funny, I think the Muslims always they say to us, you should read the verses before it and the verse before after it. You are misquoting. How come they don't want to read? Even sometimes they cut even half of the verse. They don't want to show the whole verse when they claim their miracle. If we go here, all right. This is the chapter 22, verse number 32. Let us make it big. All right. And we have made the heavens as a canopy, well guarded, yet they turn away. Well guarded is the sky, and guarded from who? Guarded from the shaitan. If we go to different verse in the Quran, chapter 55, verse number 33, you will see better explanation for this. And actually, this one alone is enough to prove Islam to be false again. Because the God of the Islam is challenging the genie and mankind to go out of the zone of the earth. All right? O you assembly of jinns and men, if it to be you can pass beyond the zones of the heaven and the earth, pass ye not without authority, shall you be able to pass. And if you go and read the interpretation according to Muhammad, nobody can go to the heaven without permission of Allah, and this is only for the believers in Judgment Day or prophets in the time of Muhammad or before. So this is a challenge that nobody can pass because simply Allah is guarding the heaven, and yet the Muslims they try to make it as if it is about science and it's about the atmosphere. You assembly of jinns and men, Allah challenged them to go to heaven. Question: did the human go out of the zone of the earth? Did the man go to the space? Yes, they did. So the Abdul who made this verse, he never thought that a human being can go to the moon. That's impossible. It was not even something to dream of. Like only Muhammad in his dream, he saw himself flying on the top of a donkey. But you will notice when Muhammad he went to the seventh sky, he never mentioned anything to us about the space, how cold it is, the view of the earth from there. Like how come Muhammad did not see the earth as a uh, like in the shape of a ball? Like you went all the way to the heaven and you came back. Isn't it amazing what you will see? What we will see in Muhammad's story when he went to the heaven on top of a flying donkey, there's a gate for the heaven, there's a door for the heaven, there's a guard for the heaven, but what is between, we don't see anything. Muhammad mentioned nothing. Right? Shane is asking 71:15, Allah created the seven heavens, one above others. Okay, well, so we are done with this one. Let us go to the one Sean he choose, which is 71:15 as if it's a choice. Let us see. 71:15. All right. Don't you see how Allah he created the skies 7 layers? Now the Muslims, by the way, they will say to you, this is the atmosphere. The atmosphere is 7 layers. But hold on. This is not about this. This is about 7 heavens. And remember the Quran, we just showed you the other verse where it says that Allah he created the stars and he made them in the lower heaven. So there's 7 skies and the stars in the lower one. So is the stars in the lower layers of the atmosphere? And actually they try to manipulate that and they will say the atmosphere is 7 layers. This is false. The atmosphere is 4 layers. 4. All right. And as you see, this is having to do with it because simply the stars is located in the lower heaven. You forgot the verse we mentioned? All right. Let's go here. Oh, that would choose a word which is all over. That was right. Here we go. In chapter 67, verse number 5, it says, and we decorated the lower heaven with the lamps, and we made it as missiles to shoot the shaitan. Read with me. So when Allah he speak about 7 heavens, there's the highest, there's the lowest, and there are 7. And we have from old adorned the lowest heaven with lamps, and we have made such a lamps as missiles to drive away the evil ones. So where is the lamps exist? In the lower heaven. If the lower heaven is part of the atmosphere, that's mean the lower part of the atmosphere has the stars. That will be very funny and very horrible to believe in. So when the evil one, which means the shaitan actually, they try to get close from the lower heaven, they don't even go there. Allah he showed them right away with the stars. And look with me here, it says lamps, huh? So Muslims cannot say that those are even shooting stars, because lamps, shooting stars are not lamps. All right? Shooting stars, they fall in the ground and they don't stay. They are not lamps. They are not, you know, they few moment, a moment or maximum few seconds, and we don't see them no more. They burn and they are gone. You know. So we, you know, we decorate the lower heaven with the lamps, and we made those lamps as missiles to shoot the shaitan, and we burn them with it. And as we say, this is to protect the heaven, not to protect the earth. Yeah, well, you know, if you make a book, uh, if you make a book about amazing science of the Quran, trust me, you will see how many people buy it. Muslims will buy your books, and it will become amazing book to read. But you write a book which is debunking all of this, showing everybody that this is nothing but a joke. That's then the Muslims will hate you, and most likely nobody even will buy it. You know, like my book Quran and Science in Depth. Oh, I'm typing again in Arabic, but look, it's coming. I type in Arabic even though it came. That's good. All right. Now this is my book Quran and Science in Depth. All right. I don't know how many of you have it. If you go inside, actually, I'm refuting whatever this guy he's saying in his claims. You will see them one by one, but for sure they're like, you know, done. They are done carefully. More reference, more stories, more fairy tale stories. You see, it's actually almost everything you see, because some of those miracles are repeated, by the way. So some of them, they are merged in together. Actually, here you see stories you never heard anywhere, like, you know, the story of the King Tubba, where Muhammad, he took many of his stories from. Here we go, the layers of the heaven and the earth, the expanding of the earth, the ratio of the earth, of the sea to the land, all those fabricated stories. And that actually made the book really big, you know, which is not good, by the way, because Muslim, I mean, generally speaking, people, they like small books, like it take too much work of you, but then people don't appreciate, you know, people, they like a small tiny one, not a book almost 500 pages. You know what I mean? You know, people, they prefer to have, even though you work hard to make it, you know, to share as much as you can in one book. So like anything Muslims they come with regarding those miracles, you can refute them, and you can, you know, you can expose them. But still, people, they don't really prefer. People these days, they like fast food. However, in my book here, there's no way one topic mentioned by Muslims is not really there. And by the way, you see this, you see guys, this cover there? This is a picture I took of my own. I'm very good in taking pictures. It's one of my hobbies. The cover there is my picture, and for sure I merged the moon, I mean the earth, inside. But this is my own photo. I took it next to the ocean, and I believe it's so beautiful, right? And I challenge any Muslim, by the way, to find one thing I said in my book is not accurate, is not valid, because everything I have there is based on Muslims' reference. Nothing, if you know, nothing there of my own. Everything. Now going back to Shane, about the seven heavens, seven layers of the heaven. What about there's seven heavens and seven earth? Like seven heaven, Muslims can get away with it. They can say maybe we did not discover it yet. Maybe there's seven heavens. You know, Even though sometimes they try to make it about the atmosphere, it's up to the mood. It's up what the lie will be about. But the Quran says clearly that there is 7 heaven and 7 earth. Where we can find the 7 earth? You see, when the Muslims they speak about the 7 heaven, they are the atmosphere. In chapter 2 verse 29 says clearly that there are 7 skies. 7 skies, sab'u samawat, not 7 layers only. 7 skies, between each sky is separated from the other one, and which is supposed to present the heaven, by the way. Let us see here. And actually in chapter 41 verse number 12, it says that we made the sky 7 skies in 2 days, and then we decorated the lowest heaven with the stars. As-sama'u dunya. So if the Muslim want to say to us as-sama mean layers, does not mean heaven, then you need to explain to me how come the stars are located in the lowest sky, whatever that sky is. All right? Now here, chapter 65, verse number 12. Let us see this one. Oh, let us go to the English one. Look what it says. It is Allah, the funny, Allah is talking, and Allah, He says, Allah is He. If you are Allah, why you say Allah is He? Obviously, this is the one who is making the Quran up. He is coming with this story. Allah is He who created 7 firmaments, and of the earth, similar number. So we have 7 earth and 7 skies. Any Muslim can tell me where we can find them? What do you think, guys? Where we can find the 7 earth and the 7 heaven? I cannot find anything have to do with the 7 earth. Unless Muslims, they can help us, then they can find us the answer. There is no 7 earth. If you go actually to the explanation here, you will see many fairy tale stories about that the earth have 7 like floors, and the floor number 1 is a warehouse, then floor number 2, and I think floor number 3 is where the shaitan live, and Allah, He chained them there. You know, there's a genie, there's a floor for the genie, there's a floor for the shaitan, there's a floor for whatever, you know. It's a fairy tale stories. If we go to the interpretation, let us see. All right, we make it big. So Muslims do not say we are making up our story. Allah has created 7 heavens, one above other, like a dome. You see it? Okay. And by the way, here the dome, there is a mountain surrounding the earth. So don't be fooled by the dome here. There's a mountain surrounding the earth. The earth is flat. And then there's a wall. And then in the top of the wall, there's a sky. So the sky is a roof. And the mountain is a blue mountain to the point we cannot see it. And actually the sky is taking its color from that mountain. All right? And that is the mountain of Qaf. All right? We can talk about it later. So here, We have 7 heaven, we have 7 earth, and all they are flat. Do you see it? Is it clear for you guys? 7 earth and 7 heaven, and all they are flat. So the question is for the Muslims, where we can find the 7 flat earth? Our earth is a flat, we will let it go. I will let it go. Where we can find the other 7 earth? I'm not going to look for the 7 heaven. I will let it go. Can we find the 7 flat earth? No. So obviously, it's a the Quran is nothing but a book of fairy tale stories, and as they say in the Middle East, even if you look like a monkey, your mother, she will see you look like an angel. So Muslims, they don't want to see how stupid this book is, because they are brainwashed and they became blind. Like, it's obvious, man. Open your books and read it. What's 7 heaven and 7 earth and 7 midget and 7 seas? Your God, he's stuck with the number 7. 70 virgins, 7. Allah will make the women 70 times more beauty. Jesus said, by the way, they stole numbers from the Bible, by the way, and Muhammad, he's stuck with it. Like, if somebody did something bad to you, you forgive him 70 times. So Muhammad, he took the number 7 from the Bible and he stuck with it. 7 earth, 7 heaven, 7 seas, 7 skies, 72 version. It's endless. If you search for the word 7 in the hadith, it's endless. You see, Jibreel descended between those heaven and the earth, right? And then, but this one doesn't really tell us about the 7 earth much. It doesn't say anything here. I wish all the translation, all the tafsir is translated, but sadly we have only few. You see, if you go in Arabic it's really a lot nicer. It's more fun. Do we have any question? You can click at Q&A if you have any question for us to share with us. Let's see. If you go to chapter 50, verse number 1, this is the one we mentioned, that the earth is covered by the sky as a dome. Don't fool yourself and don't think the earth is not flat. As we showed you, the earth is a flat. All right, but always you have to connect all those information together so you can draw a picture of it. So in chapter 50, verse number 1, speaking about a mountain which is called the mountain Qaf, and this mountain is surrounding the earth from all directions. The earth is a flat, and this mountain is the fence of the earth. In the top of it, this mountain, there is a sky. That is the roof, and the earth itself is a flat, as we showed you. So this is the chapter of Qaf. Let's go to Ibn Abbas interpretation. All right. And from his narration in the authority of Ibn Abbas, that he said, in the interpretation of Allah saying Qaf, Qaf, he says, it's an azure mountains overlooking the world, and the color of the sky takes from it. Allah swear by it, by the glorious Quran. he swear by the glorious noble Quran. He swear by Qaf, and he says he swear by the Quran. Isn't it funny and stupid to swear by the Quran and to swear by Qaf, which is a mountain? And this mountain is surrounding the whole earth. Question, Muslims, where we can find this mountain? Can we look for it? We cannot find it. All right. I changed the Muslim to tell me what is that. Now, the only way the Muslim, they will say to you, oh, you know what? Those people, they have a wrong understanding. Not in the case of Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas is the cousin of Muhammad, and he is the one, the only one who Muhammad, he named him as a scholar from all the Muslims. And Allah, he prayed to Allah to guide him to explain the Quran. The only one in the history of Islam, he was named by Muhammad in his lifetime as a scholar and as a guidance for Islam to give interpretation. It is Ibn Abbas. And the one who wrote the book, by the way, about Ibn Abbas, it's called Tanwir al-Muqbas. He is not Ibn Abbas. He is collecting the interpretation of Ibn Abbas, and he make them in a book. But Ibn Abbas is the one who is speaking there. All right? Do we have any more questions? For how long we are on air now? Do we have enough for today, guys? I think we have enough for today. We try to open tomorrow if I can. As you see, I'm not going much in Pal Talk because I notice Pal Talk people, they are coming just for entertainment. They just come to see how I debate Muslims, how I crush their religion, and that's all. But they are not really interested in learning much. They are like kind of fake people, and that's why I'm not going there no more. But I might go maybe once in a while, just to put the Muslims back in their jar, because they flourish when I go away. Just to keep things in order. Maybe next time we can talk about, like Shane is talking about, what is the Arsh and the Kursi of Allah. The word Kursi is a chair. Arsh is more, it's an elegant chair. Like, when we say the word Kursi, it's any chair. It can be like a chair you put in the backyard at your home. Nothing special. All right? But the word Arsh present like a throne, present an authority more than just a chair. All right. This is why you see here in chapter 2, verse number 255, that Allah, he sat in his chair, kursi. You see it? And then you will see that Sulaiman himself, when he died, he sat in his chair. I'm not sure if you know this story, Shane. Do you know it? The story of Sulaiman? When he died and he sat there, and then he was standing for a year, and he was dead for 1 year. If you go to chapter 38, verse number 34, 38, 34. Supposedly, Sulaiman, when he died, he died standing, and he was holding his staff, the stick of the king, he held it, the authority stick. But we are verse 38, we are wrong verse, 34, sorry, 34. So when he died, and he was holding his staff, and because of that, he was standing there, you know, dead, and nobody noticed for the whole year. Like you see here, there's different interpretation. However, all of them, they accept the same, that he was dying for a while, or he was dead for a while, sorry, and nobody noticed that he was dead. You will see here, and we certainly tried Suleiman. We tested him by the resting in his kingdom for him, and because he made merit to a woman, etc., etc. And then it says, yeah, actually here they are talking about how, you know the story when we spoke about the genie, how the genie stole the ring of Suleiman, and you know, he played as a king for a long time, and nobody noticed, you know. And later Suleiman, he died, and then nobody noticed too that he is dead. And the genie, the wives of Suleiman, they noticed that this is not Suleiman because of his sexual activities. They noticed that he looked like Suleiman. He cloned the look of Suleiman, but he is very horny. This guy, he can have sex many times a day. And they noticed that this is not, it cannot be their husband. And this is how they discover that this is not Suleiman. So here, the story is about Suleiman being tested, and they replace Allah, he replaced him with the genie, with Shaitan, and he took his chair and he took his location as a king for a long time. Enter Suleiman, he went, like Suleiman, this is what happened. Shaitan, Suleiman, when he go to the bathroom, he take off his ring, he give it to his wife, and when he go out, he take it back. He don't go with the ring with him, and the ring have the power. You know, the Lord of the Ring movie, it's coming from here. So Suleiman, he left his ring with his wife. When he was in the bathroom, Shaitan, he came in the look of Suleiman, and he told her, oh, my wife, give me my ring. She gave him the ring. When Shaitan, he put the ring in his finger, he became the king, because he have the authority. The king is this ring is a magical ring. It's not a normal ring. All right. Like if you go to Ibn Kathir, maybe this will take us out of our topic, but you know, just to share, 38, 34. Islam is full of fairy tale stories. You know, it's a bedtime story for kids, but not all of it is good for kids. All right. Here you will see some of the story, how Shaitan let's see if I can find it. Actually, I advise you to read all those pages here. They are very funny and very stupid. And here you will see that Allah, he gave Suleiman the ability to control Shaitan by his ring, and they built for him statues, they built for him palaces, they died for him to get him pearls and diamonds, and some of them, Suleiman, he put them in chains. You know, some of the Shaitan, not all of them, like some of them, they are in jail if they disobey him. Some of them, they are working to build for him palaces. It's a superpower. You know, the ring of Suleiman is an amazing, you know, look here, you know, jump to the different story. Anyway, you know, maybe next time we can make a story just about the story of Suleiman, just the whole video about it, so we can share the story of the ring and the story of the chair and the staff of Suleiman and all the fairy tale stories, which is coming from most of it from the legends of the Jews. You know, the Jews, they have many legends in their tradition, and those legends, the Jews don't believe in them. They tell them they're their kids, you know, just to be proud about how amazing David was, how amazing Suleiman was, or Solomon. But those are not really real. But Muhammad, because he's a fool, he took them, he adopted them, and he made them part of his Quran because he thought they are real. You know, all those stories is false. Like imagine somebody, he die and he stay in his chair, dead for a year, or even 40 days, or 6 months. You know, how somebody will die standing just because he's holding a stick in his hand? And he is a king. People, they come to his office, the ministers, the wives, he have a lot of wives, the servants, shouldn't they notice he's not eating? He's not blinking his eyes. Okay, you know what? He dies standing. So let us say somehow he was able to, he's balanced, like he froze this way and he is standing. But he is not in the freezer. He is standing, not in the freezer. We can say like somehow they were all able to hold him until he froze, and that's it, he stay froze. But this is a guy, he is sitting in his room, he dies standing, and then how he balanced himself for a year and he did not fail, and how nobody noticed. Like what about his skin? And within 24 hours, the dead man will start to smell. You cannot have a person inside the house for a year. Like what happened to him? He will turn bones, you know, what his flesh stay. Right away, the worms will start eating you. The insect, the smell, you know. So all of this is a fabricated stories, and only naive ones can believe in it. Anyway, guys, I want to say thank you for being here with me tomorrow. We will try to open tomorrow if I can. I really appreciate you. And please tell your friends to subscribe to this channel, because I just received a flag from the other one. You see, the Muslims are so happy from my videos. So I cannot even broadcast in that one no more. So ask everybody to subscribe in this one, and share this page of YouTube in your Facebook with your friends, etc. And let us get as many as we can, so they can be with us and they can be part of what we do. And with this, we say thank you, God bless, and Christ is Lord, Islam is false. I mean to that. Thank you. Bye-bye.